1 second, Bob.
Yes.
All right. All right. Welcome back to the Handicapping Seminar. Michael Carter alongside of Kenny Livengood. And we're joined by a very special guest very quickly, all the way from Pimlico Racecourse in Maryland, Bob the Railbird Roberts. Bob, are you having a good time?
Well, yeah, Michael, you must be a black cat because I came outside and all of a sudden we thought it was going to stop raining. Now it's raining harder.
All right, real quick, Bob, give us your pick for the 149th Preakness Stakes.
I am going with the Chad Brown trainee, who is, as you know, Tuscan Gold.
Okay.
That's where I'm going with him. He's training well, and I just looked at the probable payoffs for the Black-Eyed Susan Preakness double.
Yep.
He's the low double.
Interesting.
So
all right.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah. Who do you like?
Well, we're getting ready to go through the card. I think Kenny and I are both on Imagination. We'll touch on that here in a minute, though.
I'll tell you what. I was at dinner last night with Frankie Dettori's agent, Ron Anderson, and I says, "Who do you like, Ron? Who's going to win the Preakness?" And he says, "I am." And he's representing Torrey, who's riding your horse. I go, "Are you going to be on the lead?" He goes, "No. Frankie wants to sit second. He thinks Just Steel will be in front." So
all
you
right.
guys are on a good horse. I think you could get loose on the lead, maybe after a half a mile or so.
All right, Bob. Well, listen, go enjoy yourself and stay dry, brother.
All right, man. Talk to you later. Take care.
All right, Bob Roberts, live from Pimlico Racecourse, and sounded like he was having a good time, but you know what? Good for him. He's getting
Hopefully
wet.
he's drinking some Black-Eyed Susans.
All right, the 13th race is the 149th Preakness Stakes. We're going to kind of do what we did for the Derby. We'll go through each horse, and we'll kind of talk about the horses that we like.
It'll be a little quicker this time. There's only 8, not 20, so we'll be okay.
You think, maybe? The one, Mugatu, was in the Bluegrass Stakes and finished 5th. This is going to be a really tough try from the rail. Gets Jersey Joe Bravo in the irons, and Joe actually rode this horse to a victory way back in late 2023. So who knows? Maybe these two get along and have a shot together.
Yeah, this horse is in a very tough spot. He's going to be the longest price in here. He's raced 5 times, only 2 third-place finishes. As the class has gotten tougher, he just kind of doesn't get there. He's just going to come from too far behind, but he raced well in the Bluegrass. I mean, I think these connections as Average Joe Racing Stable, I'm always game for the Average Joes. So good for them. They seem like they have an okay horse here, just maybe not in this spot.
All right, race number 2. Number 2 is Uncle Heavy. This is the lightest race horse in the group. Has only raced 5 times in his career, but does have 3 victories. Stepped up and raced in the Wood Memorial after winning the Withers at Aqueduct, and was just a little bit flat, but the trip didn't seem to work out for him.
Yeah, this horse, I liked him in the Withers. He was a grindy effort. He seems like he'll run all day, so I think that the distance is fine for him, stretching out to a mile and 3/16. He had a tough trip over in the Wood Memorial. He was wide on both turns, and ultimately that's just too much to overcome. He still finished 5th here, but now you go from Michael Sanchez, who, no knock on him, is one of the better riders at Parks, but you go to the top jock in the country in Irad Ortiz, so you're definitely getting a rider upgrade here on a horse that seems like he'll get the distance. Maybe he's a live long shot. Maybe he's a little short in this spot. We'll see.
Did win the Withers over a muddy track.
He did win the Withers over a muddy track, and he worked hard to win. He had to grind that finish, but he got there.
So I would not be shocked to see him at a price. 3 Catching Freedom. This is another one that wouldn't shock me. Has 3 wins in 6 career starts. 2 of them coming in 2024. Was 4th in the Kentucky Derby and was flat out flying down the stretch.
Yeah, a horse that going into the Derby I wasn't very keen on. I wasn't super excited about the horses coming out of the Louisiana Derby, but he turned my eye a little bit. I thought he raced well. Honor Marie just didn't get a good Derby trip, but Catching Freedom raced well there to be 4th, but ultimately I thought he had a good trip in the Derby. He sat on the rail and didn't lose ground, and down the stretch he was gaining, but he wasn't gaining fast enough to beat. They were maybe coming back to him, so he definitely raced well. You get Pratt back again, and he's obviously been good aboard him, but isn't he just going to come from too far behind?
You got to think so. I mean, in the mile and 3/16, I think he's just going to have too much ground to make up. We've seen today over the dirt track that you don't want to be too far behind, right?
And you never want to be too far behind at Pimlico.
Unless he's sitting 3rd or 4th. it's going to be tough for him to win, if you ask me. Number 4, Muth is out. That is a really key scratch because Mystic Dan is now more than likely going to be the favorite, as Mystic Dan will try to stamp himself into racing history by winning the Kentucky Derby and Preakness. He'll be the first one, thank you for the fact, by the way, to do it since Justify did it. And, of course, Justify went on to win the Triple Crown the year he did it. And Mystic Dan just got the perfect trip at the Kentucky Derby. And, when there's 20 horses and you need everything to go your way, and Mystic Dan literally had everything go his way. You couldn't have asked for anything better from Brian Hernandez Jr. And the key thing for me in this race was the Southwest Stakes over that muddy track at Oaklawn Park, and he loved the slop.
Yes, he did. This is a horse that there's a tale of two sides to the Kentucky Derby. You can look and say he had the perfect trip. He sat on the rail, and the two horses that were in the photo finish, Forever Young and Sierra Leone, maybe they had tougher trips, they were wider, they bumped each other, and they both should have won, and maybe Mystic Dan ran the third best race and shouldn't even be the Kentucky Derby winner if everything had gone the way it should. But, it's Kentucky Derby, 20 horses, it's not going to go that way.
Right.
But then you can also look at it and say Mystic Dan was the only horse in the top 10 at the half that finished in the top 10, or finished in the top 8, or whatever the exact numbers were. But Mystic Dan was on a close pace, on a fast pace that collapsed, and all the front runners backed up, Fierceness included, the Kentucky Derby favorite. So it's hard to determine if he ran really well or really poor and got, not poor, obviously he ran extremely well, but did he get a little lucky? So I've had a tough time deciding what to do with him, but the race in the Southwest is very good over the muddy track, and this horse has some sneaky speed, and I've heard some people that think that maybe Mystic Dan goes forward off the gate, and he's out in the front today.
Interesting.
Instead of a little change of tactics.
One thing I am worried about for Mystic Dan, so if he wins today and he beats us, so be it. As you can see, neither one of us picked Mystic Dan on top. But I'll tell you, he's going to be a big favorite in the Belmont, and I think he is an absolute bet against in the Belmont if he wins today.
Listen, my hometown will be going crazy if Mystic Dan wins today, because Saratoga will be a lively place to be in 3 weeks. So I'm rooting for Mystic Dan for the city of Saratoga.
All right, number 6, Seize the Gray. This is a horse that's taking a little bit of money. I saw a tweet from Ed DeRosa earlier this afternoon. The horse was 8-1 at last updated odds. This is a horse that's taking a good amount of money. It is a son of Arrogate, and we all remember how good Arrogate was. Picks up Jaime Torres following a winning effort at Churchill Downs in the Pat Day Mile and a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he raced well. I think he's taking the My Racehorse money. My Racehorse, the micro share organization that owns Seize the Gray. So there's a lot of people that have an interest in this horse. So I think that's where the money is coming from. These horses tend to take a little bit more money than their chances suggest. D. Wayne Lucas, one of the best at getting horses prepared for the Preakness. I believe he's won it 6 times.
Yep.
So D. Wayne Lucas, definitely one you got to look out for. And he's had some big long shots that have raced well. A second a couple of years ago at like 40-1. So he always seems to get him to show up for this race. But this horse he was 10-1 in the Pat Day Mile. Isn't he just, this isn't the D. Wayne Lucas horse I'd be interested in this race.
Number 7 is Just Steel. It is a son of Triple Crown winner Justify. Joel Rosario gets the ride for trader D. Wayne Lucas. And talk about a suicidal pace of the Kentucky Derby. He was all a part of it.
Yep, he was all a part of the pace, and he paid the price for it, finishing 17th. But D. Wayne Lucas comes back, and this is a horse that's come back off bad trips before and rebounded plenty of times. He came back off the Rebel and raced second to Muth, who's unfortunately scratched out of here, but raced extremely well in the Arkansas Derby. And if he can come back to that race, this is a live long shot. That race was the best race that's in this field. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if this horse showed up. And we'll see. You get the rider change of Joel Rosario, who won aboard him back in the Ed Brown at Churchill. So he's 1 for 1 on him of late. Keith Asmussen rode him in the Derby. So Just Steel's a horse that I've been looking at. I actually hope they don't go to the lead and he can sit maybe 3rd or 4th, kind of like the Arkansas Derby trip.
Number 8, Tuscan Gold, another really nice racehorse for trader Chad Brown. Tyler Gaffleone picks up the mount, looking for his second weighted 3 starts. Went from a maiden special weight victory to the Louisiana Derby and raced lights out, maybe just a little bit too tough at the fairgrounds, but is facing a solid group here, but maybe a little bit softer than he faced there.
Yeah, this is a horse. You have to respect Chad Brown when he does this. He's done this twice, skipped the Kentucky Derby, and he's come back and won with limited starters. He did it with early voting, and he did it way back with Cloud Computing, which was his first start. So Chad is 2 for 6. He's only had 6 starters in the Preakness, and he's won twice. And both of them did not race in the Kentucky Derby. And this is a horse that had the points to get in, and they skipped, and they brought him here. So I think this horse, maybe he was training to where they wanted him now, and they got him in the right spot. And you have to respect Chad and Tyler. They're trying to get their leg of the Triple Crown just in the horse they didn't think they were going to get it in. They thought they were going to get it with Sierra Leone, but maybe they get it with Tuscan Gold here. I definitely like this horse. I put him second. I don't like how much money he's taking, though. I don't know that he should be the favorite in this spot. I was more interested in his 8-1.
9 Imagination is Kenny and I's selection in the Preakness Stakes. Was second, just beat a neck in the Santa Anita Derby. Skipped the, obviously, Bob Baffert not bringing this horse to Kentucky, brings him here. I know Bob was really looking forward to racing Muth in this race, and I think Muth would have been a seriously heavy favorite, but was a winner in the San Felipe 2 starts back. Was training really well leading up to this race against Frankie Dettori up in the irons.
This is the horse that I hope is on the lead. I'm hoping, just like National Treasure, that Imagination goes to the lead and Baffert can pick up his victory. This is a horse that has only made 6 starts, and he's never been worse than second. He's won by a head, lost by a neck. This is a horse that likes to fight. He doesn't want to give up, and if he gets loose on the lead, it's a horse that looks like he has the ability to be brave. And the horse that beat him in the Santa Anita Derby, Stronghold, I thought came back and ran well in the Derby, so I think Imagination, in my mind, is the horse to beat, and I hope he's on the lead.
I'm at 9.536. Kenny is at 9.875 for the 149th Preakness Stakes. Still lots going on here at MGM Northfield Park. We have prize drawings until 5 o'clock. If you haven't filled out that yellow form, stop downstairs to the right of the program stand. You grab it and drop it in the red barrel. We also have live music beginning at 3 o'clock, a food truck festival beginning at 2 o'clock featuring Southern Thangs, Summerfest Grill, and Twisted Grill and Grind, and Crooked Kettle Popcorn. Black-Eyed Susans. Hopefully you don't have too many of those before the card tonight.
I know. You're leaving out the best part of the whole night. 16 races tonight live here at Northfield, so we got action all the way until about midnight. So hopefully you stay with us and join us for the marathon day that is Preakness Day here at Northfield.
Good luck at all of your wagering strategies here this evening.